All right. So standing at the front end of your mat with your feet maybe about shoulder distance apart. So a slightly wider stance than you would normally do for your mountain pose. And then just start with that little transfer of weight. Step onto your left foot, step onto your right foot, and just kind of start to wiggle your toes maybe as you lift one up, and just tune in and notice how your feet are feeling this morning. And then take one more little shift of that weight side to side, and then see if you can bring it to center with both the feet on the ground, but now you're just going to sway your hips a little bit side to side. And then tune in and notice, how do your ankles feel here? Because your ankles might be giving a little bit of movement. How do your knees feel here? And then how are your hips feeling this morning? Take one more little shift side to side, and then we're going to take our hips and start to draw little figure eights. So pull one hip forward and around, and then pull the other hip forward and around. And it doesn't have to particularly look like anything, but we just want to bring a little bit of fluid movement into the hips. And then notice, how do the sides of your hips feel? How do the front pockets of your hips feel? And then how does your butt feel? And then if you're going in one direction, maybe see if you can reverse the direction of your figure eights and go the other way. All right, cool. And then take one more little figure eight around, and then let your hips come to stillness. Let your hands just kind of rest nice and heavy down at your sides. Tune back down to your feet. Take a nice big breath, just feeling your feet connected to the floor. And then in a soft standing position, so a little bit heavy in the legs and a little soft in the knees, inhale and lift your chin upward towards the sky. Exhale and tuck your chin down to your chest. And then just as you tuck your chin down, see if you can start to draw a line from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet. Inhale and lift your chin upward towards the sky. Exhale, tuck chin to chest. Notice the crown of the head all the way down to the soles of the feet. Inhale and lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. One more just like that. Inhale and lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Beautiful. Now bring your head to a nice neutral position, and then we're going to step the feet maybe slightly wider, and then you'll readjust as feels most comfortable to you. We're going to start with a little bit of a light shirt sleeve twist. So we're going to let our arms swing, and you're going to let your feet pivot and move with you. So that means as you twist to one side, one heel might pick up, and then as you twist the other way, the other heel might choose to come up. You can keep the heels on the ground if that feels like a better way to go, but if it feels more fluid and more natural to let the heels move and pivot with you, let them do that. Take one more little twist side to side at this hip level, and then start to take it up to your center. So think midsections. Think about tapping the back of the kidneys or side of the ribs. Take one more little twist in this midsection area, and then we're going to start to take it up over the shoulders. So one hand's going to throw up over the shoulders, and one hand's going to reach towards the shoulder blades, but it won't necessarily reach the shoulder blades, especially if you haven't warmed up your shoulders quite enough yet. Awesome. Take one more throw each side or even yourself out, and then start to just bring it on down. Bring it down towards the ribs and the belly, and then bring it down towards the hips. And as you start to bring it towards the hips, let it start to slow down. And then as it starts to wind down, let your arms just kind of come nice and heavy at your sides, legs soft and heavy, shoulders soft and heavy. And then just for a moment here, eyes closed or open, that's totally up to you, but just tune in and notice. You might have generated a little bit of warmth in your body. Great. And then from here, step your feet in just a little bit closer. So now they'll come back to that shoulder width distance apart. Inhale and lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, as you tuck your chin down to your chest, you're going to bend your knees a lot and then roll down through the spine. Let your hands glide down your legs as you touch the toes, big giant bend in the knees, and then right away, pull the abdominal muscles up, roll up through the spine, roll your shoulders around, down and back. Inhale and lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees a lot, tuck your chin into your chest, hands glide down the legs, big giant bend in the knees, and then as you touch the toes, right away, pull the abdominal muscles in, round and roll up to standing. Roll the shoulders down and back. Beautiful. One more just like that. Inhale, lift the chin up. Exhale, tuck the chin, bend the knees, roll your way down. Once you touch those toes, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll back up to a standing position, and then we're going to take a couple of little rolls of the shoulders, just pulling them up to the ears and rolling them around, down and back. Beautiful. One more little roll of the shoulders, and then pause in a stillness, letting your shoulders be heavy, legs soft and heavy, eyes closed or open, again, totally up to you, but then just see if you can tune back in. Notice your breath. Notice your feet connected to the floor. Notice the open air above you, or that freedom of space above you. And then bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Cool, and then with that intention set, we're gonna start to find our way down onto the ground, onto our backside. So we're gonna roll down into a little ball of yarn, but we're not gonna stay there for very long. So think about just bending your knees, folding yourself forward slightly so your fingers find the floor, and then pull your heels up away from the floor as you bend your knees a lot. And then once you're down into that little squatting position, right away, set your butt down onto the ground, grab the outsides of your thighs, roll your way all the way down onto your back. And then once you come down onto your back, give a second, get yourself situated, fix your clothes, fix your hair, get yourself settled onto your mat, and then let your arms come out in anatomical position. So about 45 degrees away from the body, palms facing up. And then if you can, press into your head, let your chest lift just a little bit. So you snuggle your shoulder blades in and under, and then relax your chest back down. And then once you've got a nice cozy position for the shoulder blades, just bringing the awareness to your hands and your fingers. As you inhale, roll your fingers in, make a little fist. Exhale, roll your fingers out and stretch them nice and wide. Inhale, roll your fingers in, make a little fist. Exhale, roll your fingers out and stretch them nice and wide. One more just like that. Inhale, roll the fingers in, squeeze. Exhale, roll the fingers out and stretch. And then bring your arms together at the chest in I Dream of Jeannie arms, catching your elbows, that little square in front of the chest. Then we're going to pull the elbows gently side to side. As you pull your elbows side to side, start by tuning in and noticing the shoulder blades in the back of the body connected to the floor. And then you might notice as you pull all the way across, there might be the sensation like your shoulder wants to lift and roll with you. So see if you can just kind of keep a heaviness in the back of your body, keeping your shoulders slightly anchored on the floor. There is movement there, but we want to keep a little bit of even distribution of weight against the back of the shoulders. Super. Take one more pull of those elbows side to side, and then we're going to slide the hands in a little bit closer to each other. So we're going to catch our shoulders into this little hug position with the elbows stacked. Inhale, and elbows are going to lift up towards your face. Exhale, elbows are going to lower down towards your thighs. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale and draw them down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale and draw them down. Cool. And then just notice which arm is on top. We're going to open the arms just a little bit into a cactus position just to open the chest, and then bring the other arm on top, coming back to that hug position. So catching the shoulders, elbows are stacked, and then moving back into that movement pattern. Inhale as you lift the elbows towards your face. Exhale as you draw the elbows down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, draw down. One more time here. Inhale and lift up. Exhale and lower down. Awesome. And then open back into that cactus or gold pose position and stay there. Give a second just to snuggle the shoulders into place. And then once you've got it, turn your head gently side to side, just moving at a range of motion that feels appropriate to your head and your neck. Awesome. One more turn of the head side to side. or even yourself out, and then bring your head to center. And then with those arms in that goalpost position, now we're going to try to keep the hands and the fingers connected to the floor. Your elbows may lift, so don't worry about your elbows so much as the fingers. As you inhale, you're just going to glide your hands up and overhead like you're taking a little bit of a good morning stretch or a yawn with your arms. And then exhale, pull the elbows back down into that cactus or goalpost position. Inhale, stretch your arms up and overhead. Try to keep your fingers connected to the floor. Exhale, pull the elbows down back in line with the shoulders. One more just like that. Inhale, stretch your arms up and overhead. Exhale and pull the elbows back down to goalpost position. And then keeping your arms in that cactus or goalpost position. Now toe heel your feet out just a little bit wider, so maybe shoulder distance apart, and then start some mini windshield wipers. So start by gently bringing the knees side to side, maybe 3 inches each way. And as you're moving in that smaller range of motion, notice your hips connected to the floor, mainly noticing that back pocket area. So you might be getting a little bit of a massage sensation in that back pocket area. And then once you feel like you've noticed you've tuned into that space, maybe you'll take your knees into a wider position. You might choose to walk your feet a little bit wider, or you might just choose to drop your knees wider. And then as you take it into that bigger range of motion, you might also notice that there's some muscle work that happens in the abdominal muscles to help control the movement of the knees dropping side to side. Cool. And if you're not already there, see if you can start to take those windshield wipers into the biggest range of motion that works in your body. So really big movement, dropping the knees from side to side. Cool. And then the next time the knees drop over to the right, let them sink all the way down. Turn your head to the left. Take a nice big breath in. Nice slow breath out. Keeping your head turned if you can, keeping your knees dropped to the right. Take your right hand, reach across and just fan your fingers out. Find your left set of ribs. Take a nice big breath in. Feel the breath in your ribs there. Nice slow breath out. Awesome. And then release your right hand. Knees are going to pull up to center. Head's going to turn to center. And then we're going to drop the knees over to the left. Let them sink all the way down. Turn your head to the right if that feels good. Take a nice big breath. Cool. And then reach your left hand over and find your right set of ribs. Fan your fingers out. Get a nice good handhold of the ribs, and then take a nice big generous inhale here. Nice slow breath out. Awesome. When you're ready, releasing your left hand back to that goalpost position, knees and head come to center. And then we're going to walk the feet in a little bit closer so they're about hip width distance apart. Hands are going to come down alongside the hips, and then we'll move right into pelvic tilt. As you exhale, press your low back into the ground. Inhale, release to the natural curve of your back. Exhale and press the low back down. Inhale to release. Exhale to press. Inhale to release. On this next exhale, as you press the low back down, we're just going to pause. So think about finding that little bit of contraction of the muscles. You might feel the muscles in your thighs engaged, the muscles in your belly contracted, and then see if you can just hold that for an extra second. And then when you're ready, release. Come back to the natural curve of your back. Cool. And then do that again. Exhale, press your low back into the ground. Hold there. Hold that little bit of contraction in the abdominal muscles. You might feel a little bit of a tug in the pelvic floor muscles. You might feel a little engagement in the quadricep muscles. Take one more moment holding that if you can. And then when you're ready, release back to the natural curve of your back. Nice. And then pull your right knee into your chest. Give it a light little squeeze. Release that foot down and right over to the left. Pull the left knee into your chest. Give it a light little squeeze. And then release that foot back down, back to the right leg. Pull the right knee in, give it a little squeeze. Release that foot down, over to the left, pull the left knee in, give it a light little squeeze. And release that foot back down. Beautiful. One more time, just like that each side. Pull the right knee in, give it a light little squeeze. Release that foot down, pull the left knee in, give it a light little squeeze. And release it down. Nice. And now we're going to go a little bit further with that movement pattern. Pull the right knee in, slide the left leg long. The heel is going to hover above the ground. and then switch. Pull the left knee in, send the right leg long, and the right heel hovers above the ground. Inhale as you switch. Exhale as you squeeze your knee in. Inhale to switch. Exhale as you squeeze your left knee in. Awesome. One more time each side. Inhale as you switch. Exhale as you squeeze. Inhale to switch and exhale to squeeze. Beautiful. And then pull both knees into your chest. Give a light little squeeze and then loosen up that squeeze a little bit and draw your knees gently side to side. Now tune in and just notice the your sacrum where your tailbone is, and then the low back part of your body, and just notice how your low back is feeling here. Cool. Take one more little rock of the knees side to side, and then we're going to take our knees into a slightly wider position. So you're just going to open your knees up a little bit, like you're bringing your knees towards your shoulders. So think of this as a variation of a happy baby position. So we're getting that openness of the hips and that light little pull of the glutes as we hug those knees towards the shoulders, and then loosen up your grip a little bit. So knees are going to move slightly away from the shoulders, but still keep that wide position, and then come back to that gentle rocking side to side. And then here again, notice the tailbone, the back side of your body, and specifically the low back part of your body. Cool. Take one more little rock side to side. We're going to hold on to the right knee in that wide position, set your left foot down, but left foot's going to step down in a wide position. So you think about stepping your left foot towards the outer edge of your mat. And then once you've got it, with a handhold that works for you, you're going to take that right knee, draw it in circles, but keeping that wide position. And then draw that knee in circles, go the other way, keeping that wide position. Beautiful. And then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to pull the left knee in, release your right foot down. So the left knee is at that wide position, right foot is out on the ground, but in a wide position. And then take that left knee with whatever handhold works for you, draw that knee in circles, go in one direction. And then draw that knee in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then pull that knee back in towards the shoulder, bring the right knee into meet, give it one last little squeeze. And then we're going to crisscross the ankles, reach your hands around the outsides of the thighs and see if you can catch hold of the tops of your feet. Once you've got a handhold that works for you, take a gentle rock side to side, just make any readjustments that you need to. And then once you feel like you've got a good handhold, a good cross in your legs, now we're going to start to find a little rock and roll from tailbone to crown of head. Take a couple of good lengths of the spine just to massage out the spine. And then once you feel like you catch a little momentum, come up into an easy seated position. And then if you need to readjust your legs, or if you don't like the crisscross that you decided on, switch the cross in your legs so it's really comfortable. And then once you've got your nice, comfortable, easy seated position, take a second here to come back to your spine. So we're going to lean the chest and the head forward just a little bit, and then bring it back, almost as if you feel like you're going to tilt backwards into your tailbone, and then lean forward just a little bit, and then pull yourself back, and you're going to feel like you're tipping into your tailbone. Nice. One more time, just like that. Lean forward just a little bit. Pull yourself back so you lean into the tailbone, and then find that more neutral space. So your head, your heart, your hips are in line, and then right into a seated cat-cow here. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale and round your back. Inhale and lift your chest. Exhale and round your back. Take a few more cycles of breath here and just move with your breath's rhythm. If it feels good to do so here, close your eyes down so you can tune into sensation. You might notice that space between the shoulder blades as you round your back. You might notice that little contraction of the abdominal muscles as you round your back. And then you might notice an openness of the chest and the collarbones as you lift, and a little stretch through the front of the belly. Great. Take one more cycle of breath, or just finish up the cycle that you're working on. And then find a neutral spine. Right hand's going to touch down. Left hand's going to reach up. Take a nice gentle side bend. And then when you're ready, lift up, take it to the other side. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. Take a nice side bend. Beautiful. Now we're going to take it over to the right, but we're going to take our hand position nice and long and wide. So we're going to reach out so far that the left sit bones, or the left side of your butt, lifts up off the ground. Reach your left hand up alongside your ear, and then push into your right hand, the hand that's on the ground. push into that hand as you push your left sits bones down towards the earth, just getting a nice long stretch through the side of the body. Take a big breath here. Beautiful, nice and easy. Lift yourself back up with control and then take it to the other side. Left hand's gonna find that long reach out so that your right sits bones or your right side of your bum lifts up. Take your right hand, reach it up alongside your ear, and then press into your left hand. Press your right butt down or those right sits bones down towards the ground and get that nice long line through the side of the body. Take a big breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, lift up with control right into a seated twist. Left hand's going to find the right knee, right hand behind you. Take one more breath. Release that twist and take it over to the other side. Right hand finds the left knee, left hand comes behind you. Awesome. When you're ready, nice and easy, unwind. And then we're going to start to find our way into a tabletop position. So you can flip your way on up or shift yourself over to one side. And then as you come onto that all fours position, just give a second to get situated. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Find that hasta bandha, that lift from the sole of your palm, that center of your palm. So we want to find a nice energetic lift that lifts the front body away from the floor so we feel nice and strong, nice and stable. And then can you tune in here and notice your shoulder blades again? Take a nice big breath there. Awesome. And then similar to what we did in our standing position, we're just going to find this little transfer of weight from side to side. So you're going to shift your weight into your right hand and right knee, and then shift your weight into your left hand and your left knee. And as you move through that shift of weight, you might choose to pick a hand up just to kind of really get a sense of the strength in your arms, your wrists, and your shoulders. Wonderful. Take one more shift of that weight side to side and then bring it back to center. Hips are going to stay in line with the knees, right into puppy pose. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Let your chest and your forehead melt down and take 3 nice big breaths here. When you're ready, nice and easy, walk it back into your tabletop position. We're going to slide the right leg back with the toes curled under, get a little stretch to the calf and the heel. So you're just going to rock yourself forward and back, and then just tune in and notice, how does your heel feel? How does your calf feel? How do your toes feel? Cool. And then the next time your shoulders come back in line with the wrist, keep the leg out, but we're going to bend the knee in any bent knee position that works for you. And we're going to take that knee and draw it in circles, go in one direction. And then take that knee and draw it in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, set that knee down. And we're going to take it to the other side. Left leg's going to slide back, toes curled under, rock yourself forward and back. Notice your toes, the bottom of your foot, your heel, and your calf. Nice. One more rock forward and back. And then as your shoulders come back in line with the wrist, stay there. Lift that leg up, bend the knee, and then take that knee. Draw it in circles, go in one direction. Trying to keep a little bit of a firmness in the belly and a little bit of stability in the shoulders so the table's not rocking all over the place. Awesome. And then take that knee and draw it in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then set that knee down, big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat, right to extended child's pose. Pull your butt back to your heels. Let your belly, your chest, your forehead melt down. And then if it feels really good here, if you want a little bit of work in the triceps, you're going to bring your prayer hands together behind the head. Elbows stay on the ground. Take one more breath here. And then if you've got those prayer hands behind your head, go ahead and release them. Lift yourself up into a tabletop position. We're going to walk those knees back in. Taking the right leg, we're going to slide it towards the end of the mat, and then we're going to slide it across. So think about finding the left corner of your mat. And then once you've found that, the or the left knee that's down, that foot's going to pivot just a little bit. So you get a little stability in that standing knee. And then we're going to roll open. So we're going to pick the top hand up, roll open, and then push through that right heel. So the heel is going to press down into the ground, and we're going to find a nice long line through the side of the body, up through the fingertips. Take a nice big breath here. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and easy. Float that hand back down to the ground, slide those legs in, pivot that left knee, take a second, bop out your hips if you need to, and then we're going to take that to the other side. Left leg is going to slide back. We're going to swing it over towards the right corner of the mat. Nice. And then pivot that right foot, pick your left hand up, open up, let that find that nice big reach from the hand down to the blade edge of the foot. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and easy, roll it back on in, pivoting those feet, pivoting those heels, and then bop your hips a little bit side to side. Nice. And then when you're ready, come back to center, curl the toes under, exhale, find your way up to downward facing dog. Take a few petals of the legs here. Bend one knee and press into the opposite heel. Nice. Take one or two more petals of the legs. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to Ragdoll Fold at the top of the mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, make some space for your belly and your chest, soften everything down. Big generous bend in the knees so we're not yanking against the hamstrings, more of a stretch to the low back and a decompression of the spine here. So if you can, let go of the muscles in the back of your neck, let your head hang nice and heavy. Keeping with this folded position and that soft bend in the knees, we're going to walk the hands over and off the right side of the mat. So just a little stretch through the left side of the body. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, walk through center and then over and off to the other side. Nice. And then bring it back through center. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Strong from your navel center. Roll yourself up to standing. And then as you come on up, give a second to get yourself situated, fix your clothes, fix your hair, and then find your mountain pose at the top of the mat. Feet about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. Give a second to just feel your feet connected to the floor, and then come a little bit of alive through the front of your body. So think about lifting up through the front of the body, lifting up through the crown of your head, and then grounding down through the back of your body. Awesome. And we're going to keep a wide position with the arms, or like we're going to hold on to our beach ball. So we're going to start by inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, holding that beach ball. Exhale and bring your hands right down alongside your hips. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands come back down. One more just like that. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, arms come down, and now we're going to add on from here. So as you inhale, arms are going to come up. As you exhale, you're going to twist. Right hand's going to reach back. Left hand comes forward. You're going to look towards the right hand. Inhale, bring your arms back up and overhead. Hips are going to stay as square as they can. Left hand's going to reach back. Right hand reaches forward. Look past your left hand. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Exhale and twist to the right. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Nice. One more time each side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Beautiful. We're going to bring both arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, you're going to sink into a light little chair just to bring a little bend into the knees. Inhale and lift yourself back up. Exhale, sink into your little chair. Maybe bring your weight into your heels a little bit. Inhale and rise up. Awesome. Exhale, sink maybe just a little bit deeper. Inhale and rise up. Nice. And now we're going to add our arms with that movement. So exhale, sit down, let your arms swing behind you. Inhale and lift up. And now we're going to get a little bit more vibrant with this movement. Exhale as you sit. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale as you sit down. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale, sit down. Inhale and lift up. Nice. One more just like that. Exhale as you sit down. Inhale as you lift up, and this time as you exhale, cactus your arms, open your chest, look to the sky. Beautiful. And then release your hands behind the back, interlace the fingers here, draw the knuckles down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pull the arms slightly away from the back of the body, lift your chin, look to the sky, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and easy, release your arms. Take a second to shrug out anything you may have come across in your shoulders, and then find your mountain pose again, anchoring into your feet, finding that nice energetic lift through the front of the body, grounding nice and strong through the back of your body. So take a second to just almost imagine that you're pushing your heels a little bit deeper into the earth. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, roll your shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold, stay with that lengthened spine position, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale, we're going to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale and sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. We're going to interlace the fingers here, flip the palms, press them forward, glide the shoulders down, firm up your belly like somebody's coming in for a little tickle. So we just get that little bit of a firmness in our center. And then once you feel like you've got some solid center there, close your eyes down, tune in. Notice your feet connected to the floor. Notice your fingers, your palms, your wrists. Notice your shoulders. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to press those palms up and overhead. And then we're going to take it into a more fluid movement. So we're going to flip the palms, bend the knees, grab that big giant beach ball, pull it up to your center, and then flip the palms, press them forward, bring them up and overhead. Flip the palms, palms face toward your crown of your head, bend your knees, round, pull that big giant beach ball right up to your heart. Beautiful. Flip the palms, press them forward, bring them up and overhead. Flip the palms, bend the knees, scoop it all the way up to your heart. Flip the palms, press them forward, up and overhead. Flip the palms, bend the knees, and draw it up to your center. Nice. One more time, just like that. Flip the palms, press them forward, bring them up and overhead. Flip the palms, bend the knees, draw it all the way up to your heart. Prayer hands to heart center. Pause just for a moment and notice. Notice that bit of warmth that you might have generated in your body. Notice your breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, let your hands come down at your sides and open your eyes. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to downward facing dog. We're going to come forward into a plank position. So bring your shoulders over your wrists and then readjust your feet as needed. Pause for a moment in that plank position. Find a little broadness in the shoulders, that firmness again in your center, like somebody's coming in for a tickle. So your abdominal muscles tighten just a little bit, but there's still room to move. And then once you feel like that firmness in your center has been found, the shoulders are nice and broad, take one more breath. Beautiful. Lower your knees with control, release your toes, lower gently down onto your belly. Great. And now we're going to take it into a Sphinx pose from here. So you're going to lift your chest slightly so that you can walk your hands in. Elbows are going to come in line with the shoulders. Arms are in a parallel position. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Draw your elbows back towards your ribs energetically. So it's not an actual movement, but we want to find that sensation of the elbows drawing back. So we find a little squeeze between the shoulder blades. And then can you press into your toes? Press your hip bones down into the earth. Gaze forward and a light lift up through the crown of your head. Nice. And then can you keep all of that engagement? We're going to lift the right heel, give a little pump of the heel towards the bum, and then lower that foot down to the ground. Take it over to the left. Pick up that left heel, pump your heel towards your bum, lower it back down to the ground. Nice. Pull the right heel up, give a little pump, and release. Take it over to the left, give a little pump, and release. Beautiful. One more time each side. Right heel picks up, give a little pump, and release. Beautiful. Left leg and release. Nice. And then just give a second. Relax your bum, relax your low back, walk your elbows a little bit wider. And then we're going to take it into half locust. So if you like, you can stack your hands and let your forehead rest. Or if you've got those bony hip points and you like to give them a little cushion, tuck your hands underneath your hip bones. Totally up to you. And then there, your chin will probably rest on the floor. Once you've got your good hand position, you're going to take a second to invite some softness and looseness into the thigh bone. So we want to let the thighs be soft and loose, and we want the glutes to be a little bit loose so we can find a little traction here. So once you feel like you've got a nice sense of looseness in the legs, let them come to stillness. Reach through the right toes, pull them nice and long towards the end of your mat. Pull them so far that the leg starts to lift up. Keep pulling through the toes nice and long, and then pull the toes nice and long as you lower that leg back down with control. Once it comes down to the ground, soften it up, shake out your heels, loosen up your bum. And then we're going to take it to the other side. Pull the left toes away from you. Pull them so far to the end of your mat that the leg starts to lift up. Lengthen and lift. And then lengthen as you lower it back down. Beautiful. And then take a second once you're down to shake out your heels. Release your hands from underneath your hip points. Take a second to wiggle out anything that you need to. And then we're going to take it into some scorpion twist. So right hand's going to reach out at your side. You're going to roll onto your right as your left foot steps behind you. Bring it right back into center. Slide your right hand in, left hand reaches out, roll over onto your left, right foot steps behind you. Beautiful. Roll back onto your belly, left hand slides in, right hand reaches out, roll onto the right, step your left foot behind you. Bring it back to center, slide your right hand in, left hand out, roll onto the left, right foot steps behind you. Awesome. Bring it back to center. One more time each side. Right hand reaches out, roll onto the right, step your left foot behind you. Bring it back to center, slide the right hand in, left hand out, and then roll over onto the left. Lovely. Bring it back to center. Both hands are going to come alongside your shoulders. 3 low cobras here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale and lower down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale and lower down. Beautiful. One more just like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down, push your weight up into a tabletop position. And then we're going to come back to that half circle position. So we're going to slide the right leg back and then over to the left corner of your mat. Pivot your left knee and then open up, lifting the right hand, big stretch. So the right foot comes onto the flat of the foot. We reach through the blade edge of the right foot and then see if you can open this up just a little bit further. You're going to take that top hand, reaching backwards and let the arm fall behind you a little bit. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and easy. Float that hand back in, slide that right leg in, readjust your knees as needed, and then we'll take it to the other side. Left leg is going to slide back. We're going to slide it over to the right side of the mat. Pivot your right foot a little bit. Lift your left hand up. Left foot comes down to the flat of the foot. And then we take that big reach through the arm and then see if you can open up a little bit further. Let that top hand, that left hand reach back, opening up a little through the chest. Beautiful. When you're ready, bring it back in, pivot those knees, slide that foot in, bop your hips a little bit side to side. And then when you're ready, curl your toes under, exhale your way up to a downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. We're going to take the right leg and step it across the left. So we're going to get a little bit of a crisscross of our feet and try to line up your pinky toes to the best of your ability. Just depends on our range of motion, and then we might have our body get in our way. So you're just going to get them lined up the best that you can. And then once you've got that crisscross of the feet, we're going to start by walking just down to the thigh. Pause for a second if there's anything that needs readjusting, or if you've already felt enough sensation and you don't need to go any further. If it feels great and you want to drop a little deeper into it, you're going to walk your hands towards your knees or your shins. And then if it feels really great, you're going to soften all the way down towards your toes. It does not matter if you touch your toes, but can you invite a little softness into the back of your neck? Take one more breath. And then we'll come up with control. Start by walking your hands up your legs, lift yourself gently up. Now we're going to slide that right foot forward just to be in line with the left foot. So it's like your feet are on a railroad track. So you're going to find that little balance beam position. And then just notice your feet might feel a little bit wobbly at first. So bend your knees, reach down like you're picking up 2 heavy suitcases, and then pull those heavy suitcases right up the side of your body, reach them up and overhead, lift yourself up and out of that wobble. Take one more breath. Nice, and then float your arms down, step that foot off, give a second, bounce out everything that you need to, and then we're gonna take that to the other side. So left leg is gonna step across the right foot. So we're gonna get that little crisscross of the feet, line your pinky toes up. And then if it's available, walk yourself forward just a little bit to the thigh, pause there and assess. If you need to fix anything, take the moment to do it. And then if it feels good and you wanna go further, start to walk yourself down to a depth that feels right to you. So maybe you land at the shins or the knee. And then if that feels really great, maybe you soften all the way down. Awesome. When you're ready, we're going to come up with control. Walk your hands up your legs, take your time. And then when you come all the way up, slide that left foot forward. So now we've got our feet on our railroad tracks in that little balance beam position. And then reach down, grab those heavy suitcases, pull them up the side body, lifting them all the way up and overhead, and lift yourself out of that wobble. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release your arms, step that foot off, give everything a nice little bounce, shaking out anything that you may have come across, and then find your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and forward fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, warrior 2. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out. Right hand is going to spin you up. Beautiful. And then just for a moment, see if you can pay attention to your feet. Draw energy up the feet, up the side body, out through the fingertips, gaze forward, take a nice big breath. Nice, and then we're going to take it into our little broken giraffe. So we're going to soften the knees and collapse into a little fold. Take a gentle little sway side to side, just to feel that bit of transfer of weight from one foot to the other. And then we're going to take it into a standing half moon position. So keeping your left foot forward, left hand is going to reach up towards the top edge of your mat, and then see if you can just pick up that right leg. Does not matter how high it gets. Once that toe is lifted off the ground, you're there, you're in your balanced position. Right hip is rolling upward towards the ceiling. Push through the right heel, and then see if it feels comfortable and you've got the stability to reach your right hand up towards the sky. Beautiful. From here, you're going to float that foot down into a forward fold position. So you're just going to step it up to the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left foot's gonna step back, warrior 2 to the other side. Drop the heel down, pivot the toes out, left hand spins you up. Take a second here to find a little strength. So we draw energy up from the soles of the feet, up the legs, up the side body, out through the fingertips. Nice, and then we're going to collapse our giraffe. So soften your hands down to the ground, and then do that little transfer of weight side to side, just bending the knees and taking a little sway. Wonderful, and then when you're ready, we're going to take it into that standing half moon position. So we're going to step the right foot hand up towards the top edge of the mat, picking that left leg up, rotating the hip upward towards the ceiling, and then if you feel it, left hand reaches up to the sky. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, stepping that left foot down into a forward fold position, take a second. Nice. And then when you're ready, inhale to a half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. hands down at your sides. Step your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. So there's a little external rotation of the feet. Toes are pointing out to the left and the right. Once you've got your way there, a little bit of a bounce of the knees side to side just to see how things are feeling. And then we're going to start to sink our butt down to the ground. So you can either come down hands free if that feels available, or you're going to bring your hands down to the ground, give a little support as you start to sink your butt down. So you choose the variation there that feels the best to you. And then once you've come down into the depth that feels right to you, let your butt settle down. Take your right hand, we're going to wedge it against the inner thigh and get a little reach. So palm is going to press down into the earth, and you're going to lift your left hand into a little gentle twist. Beautiful, and then release. Left hand is going to step out nice and wide, so the back of that left arm is going to press against that left inner thigh, palm into the earth, reach your right hand up. Nice, and then when you're ready, release. We're going to sit right onto our butt, bring the soles of the feet together into cobbler's pose or that butterfly position. Take a second to kind of wiggle into your sits bones, and then lean your heart forward just a little bit. Lift yourself back up. Lean your heart forward just a little bit, and lift yourself right back up. Beautiful, one more just like that. Lean your heart forward just a little bit. Nice, lift yourself back up, grab the outsides of your thighs, help those knees come together, hold on tight, curl the tailbone under, roll down with control. We're gonna pull those knees right up towards the chest, give a light little squeeze, and then we're gonna take them slightly wider, like we're setting up for our happy baby. So float your feet upward towards the ceiling. Arms are gonna come to the insides of the thighs, elbows are gonna push out as the legs push in. We're gonna activate those supportive hip muscles. So push the elbows out. As you push the knees in, you might feel a little shake in the muscles there. Take a nice deep breath. See if you can hold it there, nice and active. Elbows pushing out, knees pushing in. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release into your happy baby. So you might choose to grab your feet or grab the backs of your thighs. Take a second to just let your tailbone and your shoulders sink down. Take a nice big breath. And then we're going to come back to that more loose position with the legs, but now the hands are going to come to the outsides of the knees. So hands are going to push in as knees push out, and you're going to find that active position. Knees are pushing out, hands are pushing in. You might feel that little shake in your muscles. Can you hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax, bring it back to your happy baby, maybe grabbing your feet or the backs of your thighs. And then take a second, let your shoulders snuggle down, let your tailbone get nice and heavy. And now we're going to take it like we're taking a side lunge in the air. So right leg is going to reach out as you keep the left leg bent. And then bend and bring that leg back in. Left leg is going to reach out as you keep the right leg bent. And then bring it back in. And then if it feels really good to do so, you're going to stretch both legs out just as wide as feels comfortable to you. And then bend and bring it back in. Beautiful. Releasing your feet down to the ground, setting right up for a figure 4. So we're going to step those feet in so that they're about hip width distance apart. Readjust anything in your costume that needs to, and then take your right leg across the left, lift the left leg up, thread your hands through, grab the back of the thigh or the top of the shin. Hug it in just as much as feels comfortable. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then if it feels good, you're going to take that figure 4 and wobble it a little side to side. Nice. One more little wobble side to side. And then we're going to release our handhold, but keep that figure 4 position. Left foot's going to touch down to the ground, and we're going to take it into a figure 4 twist. So we're going to take the feet over to the left. So your right foot is going to touch down on the left side. And then if it feels good to do so, right arm's going to open out nice and wide. Turn your head to the right. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. On an inhale, head's going to come to center. We're going to pull those knees back to center. Keep your figure 4 shape. If it feels available, you're going to drop them over to the right now. So that means that foot is going to be stacked on top of the knee. If you get down into that drop position and it doesn't feel comfortable to your hip or your knee, step the foot off and just find a lighter position with that leg. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, bring it all back to center. We're going to pull it in for one last squeeze. So lift the left leg up, thread the hands through, draw it into your comfort level. And then when you're ready, release, step the right foot off the left, pause for a moment and notice. Notice how one side feels a little different than the other. Cool, and then when you're ready, left leg is gonna come across the right into that figure four shape. Right leg lifts up, thread the hands through, grabbing the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, pull it into your comfort level. Beautiful, and then if it feels good to do so, you're gonna wobble your figure four a little side to side. Nice, and then when you're ready, you're gonna come to center, releasing your handholds from the thigh or the shin, floating that foot down, but keep your figure four right into a figure four twist. So we're gonna drop the left foot over to the right side of your mat. Left arm is gonna open out nice and wide and turn your head to the left. On your next inhale, head comes to center, knees come to center, and then if you can, or if you like it, keep the foot stacked, drop the knees over to the left. If you get there and it feels better to drop the foot off, unclip it and just find this heavy knee. So you wanna make sure you find a light position that feels right in your body. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, head comes to center, legs come to center, step the left foot off the right, pause for a moment and notice. And then with our feet set up for a bridge position, so heels a little bit closer to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart, hands down alongside the hips. We're gonna press into the palms, press into the backs of the arms, shoulder heads are anchored into the earth. Inhale and lift your hips up nice and high into a bridge. Exhale and lower down. Inhale and lift up, and as you lift, think about lengthening your knees towards your toes, so finding a little reach through the tops of the thighs. Exhale, lower back down. Beautiful. One more just like that. Inhale, lift up. Knees are reaching past the toes. Exhale and lower back down. Awesome. Pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze. And then loosen up that squeeze a little bit. Rock your knees side to side. Great. Hold on to your left knee. Release your right foot upward towards the ceiling with a gentle bend in the knee. Give that right leg a good gentle shake. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, float that knee back down, hold on to the right knee, release your left one, foot goes up towards the ceiling, and then give that left leg a good gentle shake. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, floating that knee down, both feet are going to touch down to the ground, toe heel your feet or step your feet out to the wider edges of your mat and come back to your windshield wipers, just gently dropping the knees side to side. And now that you're back to this position, tune in and notice. Notice if you have a bigger, gentler, easier range of motion in the hips. Notice your back pockets connected to the floor. And notice your low back. Nice. Take one more drop of the knees side to side and then ask your body where would be your best Shavasana. Would it feel good to come to constructive rest? Let the knees drop in towards each other. Would it feel good to walk your feet nice and long? Or would it feel good to take any other variation of the body? Maybe reclined cobbler's pose, maybe roll to one side or flip over onto your belly, anything that might feel good and let you find a little stillness. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. And gently wake up the fingers and wake up the toes. Invite some gentle movement back into your body, maybe deepen your breath. And then if it feels really good to do so, take a big good morning stretch like a yawn. Stretch arms nice and high up and overhead. Stretch long through the toes. Take up a whole bunch of space on your mat. Take a nice big breath back into your body. Awesome. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully find your way up to a comfortable seated position. You might choose to come up to Sukhasana or any other seat that works in your body that allows you to sit up nice and tall. Nice. And then once you've found your way up into a nice tall seated position, we're going to just take some light little fists. I'm going to do 3 little taps to the back of the body. Think low back or kidneys. So just give 3 nice gentle taps there. And then taking those light fists, we're going to take it over to one side and we're just going to tap gently across to the hip and then tap gently across to the other side. Tap gently across to your hip and tap gently across to the other side. Nice. One more time in each direction. Tap gently across, back over to the other side. And then taking those light fists and we're just going to tap up and down the soft side of the body. So up towards the ribs and then down towards the hips. Beautiful. One more little tap up and down. And then with loose, light piano fingers, just a light tapping to the chest. So think down to the sternum and then up to the collarbones. Beautiful. One more little light tap up and down. And then prayer hands to heart center and Anjali Mudra. Prayer hands together, thumbs to the sternum, bow your head to your heart. And breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And breathe in a little extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with everyone you see. And when you're ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Thursday.